everybody! Today we are going to be doing a video on some Amigurumi basics. These are going to be really helpful if you ever get one of my patterns or follow my tutorials, and also are just good things to know. Without further ado, let's get started. Also like, comment, subscribe for more tutorials, and also just crafting fun times with sometimes a hint of anxiety sprinkled in. Alright, first things first, we are going to be starting with the dreaded magic ring. I promise it's not as hard as it seems. We're going to start with our tail down like this, working yarn over here, and just hold it between your thumb and your forefinger. We're going to wrap it across like that, down underneath, and back over the top of the other one. We're going to hold on to that piece of yarn with our ring finger. Next, take the crochet hook and slide it underneath this top bit of yarn. So you're going into this X over here. Then we're going to grab this other piece of yarn that we're holding between our fingers and pull it through this way. Just pull it straight through and then twist. This is the only tricky part. We're going to grab the working yarn and just do a chain. And there you go. You have a magic ring. And what makes it magic is that this tail right here will adjust the size of the ring for you. Now, when you're crocheting into a magic ring, you're going to want to crochet over that yarn tail. A lot of amigurumi patterns start with either a magic ring of 6 or 8 single crochets. So you're going to want to make all of those single crochets while trapping this yarn tail in behind the stitch. So I have 6 single crochets here, then we just pull that end to tighten them. Now, amigurumi is not worked in rows, it's worked in spiral rounds. So rather than putting a slip stitch into here, we're actually going to continue our next rows just up from there. So most amigurumi will go increases next. So we're gonna do our single crochet, and then one of the best tips I have is to use a stitch marker when working on amigurumi. I like to keep my stitch marker in the first stitch of every round, so that way I don't lose track of where I am in the round. Next, I'm going to show you guys 3 iterations of a bobble stitch. Now these are going to be slightly different depending on the pattern because there are different ways to notate this, so just pay attention to what your pattern says, but they're all going to build off of this same basic concept. So I'm going to start with a 3-stitch bobble, which is one that you can find in my patterns, and we'll build off of there. So this is going to be the next stitch we're going to work into. And to do a bobble, we are going to start as though we're doing a double crochet by wrapping the yarn, pulling through. We're going to pull through 2, but rather than finishing that double crochet, we're going to start another one. Wrap, pull through 2. Now we have the start of 2 double crochet stitches. So we're going to do it one more time. Now we have the start of 3 double crochet stitches on our hook, 4 loops, and we're going to pull through all 4. And there you have a 3-stitch bobble. This is going to be a smaller bobble than the next couple, but this is going to be our foundation. To do a 4-stitch bobble, we're just going to be adding 1 more stitch in here. So we have the foundation of our 3-stitch bobble, those 3 stitches right there, and the 4 loops on the hook. And we're just going to wrap, same stitch, pull through, and pull through 2 again. And now we have 5 stitches on the hook, the foundations of 4 double crochets. We're just going to pull through all 5. This is going to be the most common bobble you're going to see in amigurumi patterns. Last but not least, we're going to do the 5-stitch bobble. So we've got the foundation of our 4-stitch, 4 stitches down here, 5 loops on the hook, and all we're going to do is 1 more wrap around, pull through 2, Now we have the foundation of 5 double crochets down here and 6 loops on the hook. We're just gonna wrap and pull through all 6. This one's gonna be a bigger bobble than everything else. We are going to learn the invisible decrease. Now you can just do a normal decrease in Amigurumi, but an invisible decrease looks less noticeable and just will make your finished product look nicer. And it's so easy. So as we know, in crochet, we have these V stitches, which is what we go into. For an invisible decrease, we are going to go into just the front loop of the first stitch, and then just the front loop of the second stitch. So we have both of those front loops on the hook. And we're going to pull the yarn through both, like we're doing a single crochet, and pull through both of those, just as if we did a single crochet. And there's our decrease. Now, just as a couple of quick tips for at least my patterns, and I think these are pretty common to find anyway. Number 1, your right side of the stitches are gonna be on the outside. It'll feel a little bit weird when you're first doing it, you'll have to flip it, but you'll be working around the outside of the pattern to get your nice part of the stitches on the outside, rather than the back of the stitch. Secondly, I find that in my patterns and in most crochet patterns, the back of the pattern is where your stitch marker is going to be. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you would like more tutorials, come check out my page. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next tea party. Bye!